Welcome back to the Singapore Basketball Centre at Alternate as we get on with the action. It is the under-16 boys placement match for the third and fourth place that we are into right now. My name is Glenn Mascarenas. This is the Rigorer Youth Cup 2022 and we are with you right through till the end of the day. And by placement match we always mean third and fourth place finish. That's what we're looking at as Siglap Red, the lads in the white and red, battle KX Youth who are in all black. Well, remember, the lads will always be a tad bit pacier than, well, our young ladies. And there's just that little bit more of aggression that you'll see. The girls, of course, bring in elegance to the sport, which is much needed. And I think the difference, of course, is always that women's basketball concentrates more on technique, technical skill and elegance rather than just, well, skill and aggression. And the lads, of course, will always feature that intense physical aggression. It tends to be physically more demanding or challenging. Having said that, we're into the first period. And very eager to get, well, the scoring started. It's KX Youth. Here's Huang Kai-jun. First half opportunity and he will make it count. It's also the first points on the board as we've got a decent enough finish here. That came in from Gurkirit Singh. So Gurkirit Singh, well, finding the breakthrough there for KX Youth, but now a free throw opportunity. Here's Jonathan Check. Will have to do better on his second effort. Remember, he can reduce the deficit. And yes, he does. So that's what's really needed. 2-1 KX Youth. fairly slick with their passes. Well, KX Youth, but it's now Siglap Red. Well, Cheryl Ganshu Hung putting up a good display of skill there. But it is KX Youth who've got the benefit of that call from the referee. Really looking to find his way through here. Tanve's here. Well, doing fairly well earlier for his team. Here's Onkai Ning. That's picked up by Gurkirit Singh. Oh, well done. Well, absolute near perfection there from young Huang Kai-jun as KX Youth lead 4-1. And it's end to end, if you ask me. Well, the official has spotted, of course, a violation, so a very good chance here for Siglap Red to get back into the thick of things. They're just a point behind, and stepping up this time, it's going to be Gerald to take the free throw. Remember, you've got 2 shots to nail the field goal. Well, 1 to be precise. That misdemeanor, of course, not really a big violation. KX Youth just struggling a tad bit with strong defensive work being put up there by Siglap Red and Onkai Ning. Well, holding fort for his side earlier. Onkai Ning back again. One of the piece of the pie all for himself, but he's certainly going to win the benefit of that call. The referee will signaling a violation, personal violation, not detrimental, but detrimental if Ong finds the target. And yes, he does. So Siglap Red now back on level terms. It's 4-all. And missing out on his second effort. Well, the referee calling that. If not, Eunice would have made a difference. Off to Zhao Bing Chuan. Zhao getting Onkai Ning in. Here's Nihal. Slick passes from Siglap Red. Well, almost thought Nihal was going to take it. Well, just viewed it by the way he did cut across, but it's Gerald, well, who did have wall side of the target. Well, almost does it here for young Gabriel Leo. And that's another one through. So Siglap Red are certainly making the difference here. And a quick timeout. As KX Youth, well, we'll get a few words. It did start off fairly strong, but then just falling back to Siglap Red. the timeout is always, well, interesting as far as give $1 million to find out what the coaches do speak about. So KX Youth restarting the action. Well, just to keep you in the loop about the timeouts, we've got 2 timeouts allowed in the first half, and that's in the first 2 periods to be precise, and 3 timeouts in the second half. So almost does it there for Huang Kai-jun as well, and a lovely effort, and that's going to really count. KX Youth now with a 3-pointer, so it's 6-7 as the lads in black, well, reclaim their lead. Another opportunity here, and that's beautifully done. Absolutely marvelous effort coming there from Lionel Lim earlier. Nihal Ahmed. We're trying to make that count. Here's Ong Kai Ning, and Ong Kai Ning almost nailing it through. So Siglap Red leading earlier, but now it's KX Youth who've got 3 points ahead, but not for too long. A good fight back coming in here from the lads in white. It's now 8-9. So a fairly interesting first period of play here between Siglap Red and KX Youth. Remember, this is the placement match, which of course does boil down to the 3rd and 4th place finish. Well, Siglap Red certainly looking to get back into the action, and they certainly are. It's been hammer and tongs action here from both sides of the court. It's now 10-11 as KX Youth look to fight back. So run there from Huang Kai-jun. And the referee, of course, spotting a quick violation. Throw in granted there to KX Youth. It's picked up by Janes. Shanestan. Well, almost does it here for the lads in black. And the referees call that. As I've always said, most players, if you ever played basketball, you'll always be guilty of two things: the double dribble and, of course, traveling. So possession changing hands fairly quickly here in this latter part of the first period. Oh, lovely assist, and what a beautiful finish. Absolutely marvelous job being done here by KX Youth. And it's Gabriel Leo who made that count. 13-10 as it currently stands. So the black t-shirts doing just enough to rest easy. And of course the referee calling that. If not, Kai Terao would have been a happy camper. He has got the ability to shoot from a distance, young Kai. And Huang Kai-jun restarting the action. It's off to Kai Terao. Had a couple of instances of traveling here today, and that's the official, of course, will grant the ball back to Siglap Red. Counting down the last few seconds of this period. Been a healthy start for all the lads on the court. Siglap Red would like to get in to the break on level terms, but it looks like the black t-shirts will just hold them off. Good bit of damage control being done by Huang Kai-jun. And Kai Terao misses out on this effort. 17 seconds for the count now. Talk about that hustle. And if that results in a finish, and yes it does. Absolutely marvellous work being done by Ong Kai Ning. Siglap Red now sit on 12 points and KX Youth on 13, and that will be the score at the end of the first period. Let's remind you that this is the Rigorer Youth Cup 2022. We are into the placement match of the boys under 16, which is the second encounter of this morning. Well, do stay with us as we continue bringing you the action live from the Singapore Basketball Centre at Al Junaid. Into the second period of play. Looking for an early start, KX Youth. They took a slender lead. Well, into the shot break. Remember, we're still in the first half itself. And it's anyone's game to win here. Start out of the morning with the girls under 16 placement match. And that certainly, well, did stretch us a bit. It stretched the girls on field, on court as well. And I did love it. Always like a game to go down to the wire. Decider in overtime. Well, I'm all for every single bit of play on a court, on a field, indoors or outdoors, with the exception of sudden death. It's, well, just as a sports fan, just about hate that bit. Always feel it's unfair, and the brunt, of course, of the loss then does fall upon one athlete, which is really not the way it should be. So back to the action here as our lads will continue with their efforts. Unable to hit the target this time around, Lee Zivu. And that's got to be one really, well, strong scramble in the box. The beauty of it is that KX Youth, their defense, well, just has been fairly steady right through the entire course of play. And KX Youth, when the benefit of that call, they almost thought that it was a violation for a bit. Quick pass back there from Gurpreet Singh. A lovely block by Ong Kai Ning earlier. Here's Gabriel Leo. Talk about gunning for the ball. And young Gurpreet will have to wait for his opportunity. Well, you always wonder why we've always got very able assistants when it comes to cleaning up the courts, and whether it happens in basketball or in floorball as well, where you have polished surfaces. That's very simply due to the perspiration when lads sweat and they do fall, and that can be detrimental for play later on. So they've got to keep it clean, they've got to keep it dry at all times. It can be a very slippery affair otherwise. Having said that, do keep in mind the fact that court shoes, well, are so important. You do need a tad bit of a grip, but not too much, that allows for easy movement. And if you play, well, any indoor sport, including squash, you would know that it's the fairly, well, harder soles that make it count. You don't find lads with soft soles playing on, well, a basketball court. And things have changed much from the good old ankle guards that used to be there on anklers. Well, now most shoes, well, do feature just improved technology that helps, well, the laces keep your ankle in place from twisting. Missing out on the free throw. Here's Lee Zivu. He's got a second attempt. Will he be able to make this count? Get Siglap Red back on level terms. Well, not for now, as KX Youth pull it away once again. Here's Huang Kai Jun. Zenkor being kept at bay by the KX defense. Gurpreet Singh unable to hold on to that. Great interception by Xavier Sim. Well, if you've just joined us, a hearty good morning to you. Don't forget we've got a great amount of action lined up for you. I was just having a chat here at the alternate venue, which is the Singapore Basketball Centre. A quick chat with the organisers. Remember, this is brought to you by BAS, that's the Basketball Association of Singapore. And just having a quick chat about how things have changed. Well, the Youth Cup's been around since the 80s, but it's always been a very competitive affair, and there's never been too much of flash involved in it or color. But this time around, keeping in mind the fact that we're restarting the action after that 2-year break, the last Youth Cup was held in 2019, and then the pandemic stole it away from us for 2020-21. Well, it wasn't really held for obvious reasons. Now that the action has restarted, it's going to be different. It's almost like a carnival or a celebration of sorts. You've got snack counters. There's a good bit of action. There'll be games, of course, in between games, so you can win yourself prizes. And just in case you did get yourself tickets earlier, remember, there's not too many tickets on sale, but if you did get yourself tickets earlier, then that's going to really do you good, because it's going to be a very, very enjoyable affair right through this day. But in case you did not get tickets, well, you can stay with us right here online. It's a great place to be and catch all the action. We'll also give you better angles than you just sitting and watching it straight, so why not? But the next time around, of course, this does happen. Remember, this will continue every year. There's going to be a bit more color, a bit more pizzazz, and a little bit more excitement that will be added to the event, and you definitely want to be a part of it. Back to the action on court. And a quick run there from Jae Wong Zuvei. So 2 shots. Free throw to be taken by Jae. And that's, well, 10 on 10 for the first effort. Can he make the second one count? Well, almost does it. But Siglap Red and KX Youth now sit on 13 points each. Here's Gurkarit. Was looking to find Huang Kai-jun, but unfortunately put that ball out of play. And Jadalgan just watching that ball sail out. So, just for all things said and done, in case you did not know this, Rigorer Youth Cup, the reason it's called that is because Rigorer is the main title sponsor. But for the longest period of time, it was known as the Milo Youth Cup. Milo still very much associated with the event. And if you've grown up in these parts, and like me, would have been treated to that beverage through your entire life, then you're just as lucky as I am. Well, almost does it here. Lovely effort coming from Jae Wong. Unable to make it count though. And the referee, of course, will get another violation in place for grabbing. Well, the penalty always does depend on the violation, and it's one of the reasons why basketball referees have to be so very, very alert. It's not just the personal violations, but the game violations that count. And simple things like, of course, well, lane violations, traveling, your 3-second violations, the 5 seconds. There's always, well, so much to watch out for. Not too happy about that call. Jae Wong's away. Here's Gabriel. Straight off to Gabriel. Gurkerit needs to make this count here. Jones. Not the easiest way through for Kaitarao. And another violation picked up there by the referee. Well, they will happen right through the entire game. And really, that's the magic of each sport, isn't it? The rules that make it count. Having said that, the 13 basic rules of basketball was set way back at the end of the 19th century. And then, of course, there's been changes upon changes that have been effected. Well, we call them change, but the main body of FIBA would call it progress. And that's what it really is, isn't it? It just makes the game more exciting. So Dr. James Naismith, well, he's the one who created the game in 1891 in Springfield, Massachusetts, to condition young athletes during cold months. He was a physical education instructor at the YMCA International Training School, now which is known as Springfield College. It's a beautiful college, and if you're a basketball fan, it really is well worth making a visit there, because they've got, you know, all these old photographs that are listed up. So Dr. James Naismith invented it in 1891. He was, to be fair, he was a Canadian to begin with, and a physical education instructor. He also created the sport so that it would be less injury prone than football was. Naismith himself was a 31-year-old graduate student when he created the sport. The game, of course, became established very quickly and popular, and as the 20th century progressed, first in America and then in other parts of the world, which is why, you know, even the NBA is so huge in America. After basketball became established in American colleges, the professional game followed, and the American National Basketball Association took birth in 1946. It's now grown to a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, and basketball has become an integral part of American culture, along with, of course, baseball and the NFL, or American football. Siglap Red have a plan in mind. As Xavier Chan gets it to Nihal. And that's good shooting skills from young Xavier Chan. As Siglap Red now take the lead. They are on 15, while KX Youth are on 13. And that's exactly what you call finesse coming in from Xavier Chan once again. He's had two worthy, well, shots and two worthy field goals that have resulted from it. Here's Gurkerit Singh. Unable to pass through the net, but he's done well to just keep that pressure on a tad bit. KX Youth know that they've got to draw level. Now here's Nihal Ahmed for Siglap Red. Very good move there from Gabriel to claim possession. Well, just over the rim. Hong Kai Ning doesn't really go in for the shot too often, but this time he did. And Jonas Than kept at bay. Oh, lovely assist and a beautiful finish. That's what you exactly require. So Hong Kai Ning providing it to Lee Si-Vu, who's now taken Siglap Red to 19 points. Quick fight back from KX Youth. Unable to, well, nail that three-pointer was Jonas Than. So KX Youth just struggling a tad bit. Quick call from the official. looks like it's going to be a free throw in. Well, just 2 minutes shy of hitting half-time here. Keep in mind the fact that after 2 periods, it is half-time. Nihal Ahmed will have to give up possession just for the time being, and the referee spotted something. That's going to be a substitution. Extremely quick to provide replies early in the game. That's where KX Youth were. But in the second period of play, things just seem to be, well, a bit of a struggle for KX Youth, who started so well in this game. Talk about giving it away, and that's snatched very easily by Lionel Lim. Well, talk about working that magic. And it's exactly what KX Youth seem to be doing. It's now 19-16. Well, if they can make it count, they can get back on level terms, keep Siglap Red from gathering more points, then it's a fighting chance here for KX Youth as well. Having said that, the team that led for the first game in the morning was the team that actually almost fell out, but reclaimed it back in the last bit. Siglap Red restoring, well, a slender lead. It's now Siglap Red 21, KX Youth 16, heading towards the last bit of play in this period. Well, do remember, players have to sit out a violation when the referee calls it. And just to refresh your memory, we've got 2 timeouts per team in the first half of play. We're getting towards the end of that half, and 3 timeouts in the second half of play, which of course is between the third and the fourth period. Well, the duration of these games not too long, 10 minutes per period. That's 40 minutes in all. Remember, you've got 2 minutes tops in between the first and second and the third and fourth period. So that's about, you add that together, that's about 44 minutes. And then, of course, you've got that main break between the second and the third period, which is 5 minutes, so 49 minutes. Well, just a little under 50 to be precise. With stoppages, sometimes that can extend to an hour. Throw overtime in, and we shoot about an hour. Nihal Ahmed, we're looking to make the difference. Well, near perfect execution of that jump shot, but not perfect, because you want that to end with the ball, of course, skimming through the net. And that's the end of the second period. It's Siglap Red 21 and KX Youth 16. Well, it's been a good effort so far, but Siglap Red just holding their noses ahead. Well, do join us for the third period, and that's when the next half of play, of course, resumes. But for now, it's time for us to take a bit of a breather. And just like me, if you want to get yourself a coffee, then go ahead and do that. My name is Glenn Mascarenas. The action continues right here at the Singapore Basketball Centre in Al Junaid. So into the third period of play here. Or to be precise, the second half between KX Youth and Siglap Red. Well, the scores were Siglap Red 21 and KX Youth 16 getting into that break. And that's exactly how we resume. And Siglap Red, of course, with another two-pointer, just with two two-pointers, making 25, well, 16. And that's really the difference. Remember, there's a change of sides. So KX Youth, of course, swapping over. And if you ever think back when we were talking about the history of the game, Dr. James Naismith, and how he put together just 5, well, basic ideas and 13 rules to the game, and how that has evolved over time. Most of the violations, of course, well, taking birth much later don't forget that there were a couple of names that were meant to be used for the game itself, including Harumph. Some called it the Naismith game, but they agreed that they had a ball in a basket, so why not call it basketball? Remember, the objective of the game originally was to throw the basketball into the fruit baskets nailed to the lower railing of the gym balcony, and that was, of course, the peach baskets. And while we talk of that, here's another 2 points in the bag here for Siglap Red as Lee Zivu makes it count. KX Youth well started off very well. They're fairly behind now, 27 points to Siglap Red. KX Youth just going through the motions. Fresh pair of feet there as always, will always make the difference. Lead to, well, a better contest. Very quick movement, excellent passes, and very slick. Well, as far as the game is concerned, and that hustle is not going to augur too well with the collision. But all that's back on top, and just looking at it, the referee, of course, will grant the throw-in to, well, Siglap Red. Very quickly, Jonathan Check, just making sure that that area, well, is cleaned up. So this placement match, of course, will be followed by the girls under 16 finals. That happens in just a little bit from now. Jonathan Check to Ong Kai Ning, and Ong just failing to, or just missing out on pulling in the points there. Referee, of course, spotting another violation, and yeah, it's going to be thrown for Huang Kai Jun. Well, opportunities like this, of course, can be turned into certified field goals. It requires a plan, and that's exactly how you do it. So KX Youth will know that the fight, well, has to be on. They are 9 points adrift of Siglap Red as they continue the action here. Well, don't forget that if you are in the area, we would have extended an invitation to you to come in and catch the action, but unfortunately, well, the tickets all out for the day today, and that's how important this tournament is and how it's always been. It's got a dedicated fan following. So substitutions quickly being made. Gerald Gunn finding Zaubing, who fails to nail that effort, and KX Youth will just relish the chance that they have to get back into the game. Remember, it's only the third period. There's still a period more to go. Gurpreet Singh does well to create an opportunity. Right now it's Jonas Than. Just to give you a bit on the coaches as well, the head coach for KX Youth is Stuart Chun, and for Siglap Red it's Lee Bun Hian. Absolutely marvelous effort there, and you needed that. Well done by Jonas Than. Drove that all the way through, created the opportunity for himself, got past the defense. It's now 29-22. Things just heating up a tad bit here with the black t-shirts. Very hungry to restore or to reduce the deficit or the gap between the two teams as far as the points are concerned. Got to pick his man out, Gerald. So KX Youth continue with their pursuit of the points. And you would think that 7 points is a fairly healthy lead, but not for too long. 4 minutes of play left in the third period. Well, to be fair, it's only the second affair of the day. Here's Gurpreet taking it forward for his team as he leads the charge. Well, almost does it for young Gurpreet. Well, the basketball center, just in case you ever had the chance to come here, does feature a really, really nice surface. Well maintained, well taken care of. It does look like she's having an active day as well. She's been up and out with the mop a couple of times over. Always wonder that the volunteers normally and the help, you'll always have a bit more physical activity than the players themselves because you stretch the entire day through. 29-22. It's all left to KXU to do to get back into this game. They did, of course, languish behind a tad bit in the first two periods. It's a strong chance for you to get back in. Ongkai Ning with the assist. Almost a super finish there from Xavier Sim, but good interception by the KX Youth. There's really always an opportunity to create, something when you've got, a good sync between the players up front, especially between the power forwards and the centers, and of course the small forward. But that doesn't happen too often, and that really becomes more a part and parcel of the game as you get older. Lovely finish there. And Xavier Sim does have his say in the end. So it's 31-22. Siglap Red want to prove their dominance. They're still keeping the pressure on here on the black t-shirts, and that's another finish. Does it twice over Xavier Lim. 33-22. KX Youth have got to pull in the points. Probably even take a look at those three-pointers if they can. Well, if they can make it count, that's a big question. So off the court, it's Jibriel Leon Junkai. We will, of course, keep you in the loop about the next few events. The girls under 16 finals, followed by the boys under 16 finals. Well, extremely good block put up there. By Taiji Zhe earlier. So just barely about 2 minutes of play. Well, time has moved on rather quickly. And a free throw, well, will always bode well if you can find the target. Unfortunately, Sung Bao Sheng unable to nail it. Lovely side pass earlier by Chunes Than to his teammate Gurpreet Singh. Well, the coaches having their say as the lads continue the action on the court. Oh, very slick pass there. But unable to get it from over. Just hits the underside of the hoop. But unfortunate here for the Jiza. It's Sung Bao Sheng. Can he make the difference with his second? As it stands, it's 33-22. And no, he doesn't. But Siglap Red aren't going to be too concerned about that. Here's Kai Therao. And Gurpreet Singh. Oh, that's a beautiful one. And they needed that so badly. So Siglap Red 33 and KX Youth 24. Lovely effort from Gurpreet earlier. So counting down the last bit, 54 seconds to be precise before we can be done with the third period and we move on to the final part of the game. And that, of course, will be anyone's to win or to suffer a defeat. So quick work being done. Well, almost flew like an eagle. The referee, of course, will rule that out. But good effort from Gerald Garn earlier. very skilled, these lads. Do take a closer look at them. I'm not just saying Siglap Red, but KXU too. So for that foul, a free throw missed out on by Gerald Gunn. Can he make this one count? And yes, he does. Absolutely no mistake there from him. It's 34-24. And that's what was needed. Siglap Red with another two-pointer, 36-24. And the referee has called the pushing action. That means, of course, it will be KXU to start from outside. And the seconds, of course, have pretty much got over as far as this period is concerned. It was Siglap Red that dominated play in this section of the game as they lead 36-24 going into that short break. We will be back with you for the fourth period where we find out whether KXU can come back from behind to win it, or will it be Siglap Red to rule all the way. Do stay with us right here. We'll be back. So welcome back to the action at the Singapore Basketball Centre. Right here in the heart of Alternate. My name is Glenn Mascarenas. As we enter the fourth period of play, Siglap Red and KXU resume their battle. It is Siglap Red who took a very good 12-point lead into the break. And we resume with the scores at Siglap Red 36 and KXU 24. This, of course, is the final period of play, so don't forget, it's an important one. Well, while we get through the action, let's also very quickly remind you that coming up soon, we've got a big one, and that, of course, is the Under-16 Girls Finals. We did have the placement match earlier, and it's going to be Siglap Black taking on Kembangan Chai-Chi Youth. That happens in just a little bit, so don't forget, stay with us right here for all the action. But for now, we still have to have a decider for the current game. It's been a game that, well, Siglap Red have held their own in. It'll be interesting to see if KX Youth can get back into it. Ongkaining just missing out on another Well, field goal there. Open season, absolutely no one to stop him. A lovely pass there, and what a finish from Gerald Gunn. And he was picked out so well. So 38-24 is where it stands. And that's another one through. And it's Nihal Ahmed who makes the difference here. So that's what was needed as far as Nihal is concerned. He's had a few efforts, but finally able to find the net. So 41-24, and Siglap Red are stretching that lead to a fairly decent margin. 17 points ahead to be precise. And KX Youth will have to really dig deep now to come up with a few replies here. Started off well, kind of fell off the grid in the second period, and in the third, did struggle. But right now it is Siglap Red who are very much, in the driver's seat. Kai Thural doing a bit of damage control. Chunestan. And that's what they need from time to time to just, keep those goals coming in consistently. KX Youth. It's Siglap Red 41, KX Youth 26 now. Gurkareet Singh, Junestan, back to Gurkareet from Jebriel. Jebriel with the assist. And Gurkareet will find his way through. So KX Youth now on 48 points. It's 41-28. Sorry, KX Youth on 28 points and Siglap Red on 41 points. 41-28 is where it stands. And here's Nihal. Oh, that's beautiful. Needed a bit of perfection there for a three-pointer, and he certainly got it. 44-28. Perfect execution earlier from Nihal Ahmed. And that's another sweet shot. If those points keep coming in the way they do, Gerald Gunn nails another three. It's going to be a huge worry here for, KX Youth. 47-28. That's a hefty 19 points ahead. Last 6 minutes of play. The KX Youth coach, of course, having a word there with his lads. And I think the real concern for the coach has been for KX Youth with their defense. It hasn't been the strongest. Siglap Red, on the other hand, have been fairly tight. That could actually be the deciding factor between a victory and a defeat here. So now it's Siglap Red 47, KXU 30. Last 5 minutes of play. KXU doing just enough to stay, well, in the running, but 17 points, 5 minutes. It's a bit of a tough ask. Is it doable? I certainly think it is. But with Siglap Red putting on a tight defense and, of course, keeping that attack alive right through, I think the pressure is really on the lads in black. Kaiterao. So while the substitutions do take place, let's also remind you that in the Rigorer Youth Cup 2022 this year, there's a whole bunch of activities that are taking place. We've got an MC who was playing games with the spectators during the break. And remember, there are prizes up for grabs as well. They may not be the most, they may not be, well, the most expensive or the most flamboyant, but they are good prizes you get to enjoy in the competitive game. Jonestan. And that's really what is needed. 2 more points in. Siglap Red 47, KXU 32. Needed that finish, and that's exactly what they get. So this is not turning out to be too good an outing here for KX Youth. Siglap Red are now on 49 points. So 49-32. It's been a bit of a tough ask for KX Youth right through this entire, well, half. To be precise, it was a well-contested first half, but then Siglap Red just pulling it away in that second half of play. Free throw opportunity, and he's nailed that as well. So strong work being done by Zankor for his team. And by Lee Zivu, whose shooting skills, of course, have been very, very sharp. So 50-32. We had overtime in that first game. There's certainly going to be none of it, so we're sorry to disappoint you with that one. Doesn't happen in every game, does it? We do love a game that goes down to the wire, but this, of course, will be a decider by itself. So Siglap Red lead 50-32. Still a bit under 4 minutes left in this game. Here's Kaiterao. Well, he's been probably one of the finer players in the team. He's really worked the grid, put in his all right through every single minute. Tried to create a few opportunities, tried to net a few, but having said that, it really boils down to the defense. And the KX Youth coach, they're really concerned about that bit earlier. And that's another one through. Made it look so easy. So Glenn Yap in the fray as well. 53-32. And that scoreline seems to be growing. Substitutions all around. Jonestan. That's excellent interception there from, well, Siglap Red, and a lovely finish Just a nice, decent layup from Xavier Sim. 55-32. It's off to Janes. Back to Huang Kai-jun. And a personal foul for pushing. Well, pushing and grabbing doesn't normally earn you, well, free throws, but free throw-ins. And that makes a huge bit of a difference. Gurkerit slipping it to Kai Terao. Was unable to hit the target, but Siglap Red with a counter attack. Jonathan Check. Well, Check misses out. And when you're unmarked, you can do it. He's done that more than 3 or 4 times in today's clash. Wonderful work being done here by Gerald Gunn. A minute 56 left. The score reads Siglap Red 57, KX Youth 32. Here's Gerald back again. Well, he's got a good amount of power. He's got a good amount of pace and aggression to keep himself steady, and that's what makes him so different. Gerald Gunn. A minute 45 to go. 57-32 is how it stands. And we are going to get into the under-16 finals in just a little bit for girls. Remember that, of course, is for the best place finish. Earlier it was well, in the first game of the day, it was Kim Huat RNE Basketball Club Raffles that got the better of Chianchi to take the 3rd best place in the women's, or in the girls under 16. In this placement match, your guess is as good as ours as to who's going to cap it off with a win. So 90 seconds of play left. Now this has been a bit of a worry as far as we are concerned. When you have a huge margin or a massive lead in the scoreline. Oh, lovely finish. Needed those 3 points so badly. And a tad bit of relief there for KXU. Well, it hasn't been a washout. They have fought back. They have been able to knock in those points every now and then, but it's that 24-point difference now that could make it impossible. 54 seconds, 24 points to pull level, and it's certainly looking like a bit of a mountain to climb for KX Youth. Down to the last 54 seconds. Another free throw. Jonathan Check will get another shot after missing out the first one. And still no way through. That is pulled away by KX Youth. Here's Gurkerit. And it's now Jadal. So 31 seconds left in this game, just 31 seconds, and it's going to be an interesting affair to see what exactly transpires as we get to that last finish. 59-35. salvage a bit of pride. That's what KX Youth might just be able to do. Well, did have the intent, but not the finish there. And that was young Gurpreet Singh. And that's pretty much the end of this encounter. And it's hardly been much time for the lads to get off before our young ladies can get on board. They will start off with their under-16 finals in just a little bit, so don't forget. But in this game, it was a massive win, 59 Siglap Red, 35 to, well, KX Youth, and that was the final score. So a massive win for Siglap Red, who led, well, for pretty much most part of the encounter. So don't forget, we will start off with the ladies under-16s in just a little bit. Siglap Black take on Kembangan Chaichi Youth. And that's all happening right here at the Al Junaid Singapore Basketball Centre as the Rigorer Cup 2022 continues. And don't forget, this is only the third match. We will have the boys under-16 finals after this as well. My name is Glenn Mascarenas. I'm going to take a bit of a breather, and I suggest you do the same. But don't forget to join us back again when we resume very soon. So don't be gone for too long.